Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us. If you're in the Emirates, good evening. I hope you had a pleasant iftar and you haven't eaten too much. Let me start by thanking the Foreign Ministry for hosting us today for this lovely series of engagements. And I'd like to welcome our guest of honor today, Major Hazza al-Mansouri. For those of you who don't know, Hazza created history for the UAE when he set foot into outer space and onto the International Space Station back in September. He is one of our guests here in this series hosted by the Foreign Ministry. We're going to talk about several things on the program today. We're going to talk about his preparation and his mindset and what it was like. But I just want to tell you a couple things about Hazza first. Hazza was a major in the Air Force and started off as an F-16 pilot. And like all fighter jet pilots, they made a natural progression to do something bigger and better and then went to outer space. Hazza really put the UAE on the map from the standpoint of the future. And he has a lot of young Emiratis now looking at things and having dreams that they didn't have in the past. He really created an inspiration to so many Emiratis, and I am really honored that I get the privilege of hosting him and interviewing him today. So Hazza, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Excellency, for this introduction, and it's my honor actually to be with you today in this symposium, and thanks to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It's really a pleasure, and I want to also thank His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed for his leadership, and we saw that through our travels through different countries and the tremendous jobs you as ambassadors did and you're still doing to make our travels and our movement through different countries really smooth and in a very simple way. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Hazza. You know, we as diplomats, our job is to promote our country, to explain our country to people. But what you've done, you've made it so much easier for us to do our jobs because you really introduce the UAE to a much bigger, much broader audience, to people who normally don't deal with us. So let me start off, and my first question is sent to us by my 9-year-old son, Omar al-Ateba. When I told him I'm introducing you, he said, I want to ask him a question. I said, great, what's your question? He said, please ask him, when he was in space, did you see any meteors or asteroids while you're there?
Unfortunately, first of all, thank you for this really amazing question from your son. And in my 8 days in space, I looked out a lot watching our beautiful planet from the station. I didn't see meteoroids or any of these, but the view of Earth from there is really spectacular. It's something that you won't like to see it for next couple of hours without getting tired from that view. It's really amazing view, and encourage your son in future, inshallah. Maybe he will be he is interested in this sector, space sector. Maybe he will go there and he will see it with his eyes, inshallah.
He's definitely interested, and as I think our viewers are not aware, but you were planning to be here in Washington to do a series of events and engagements in April, and this little pandemic thing called Corona got in the way, unfortunately, so we're doing this instead. So Hazza, you were an F-16 pilot. Talk to us a little bit about the transition. How did you decide you wanted to go into outer space? Was this something you happen naturally, or did it just you woke up one morning and decided, I think this is the next step? How did it happen for you?
So let me start from the beginning. As a kid, normal kid from any country, when he will see cartoons about space or Star Wars, or maybe looking at stars, he will have that dream. Oh, can I go there? Can I experience this floating that I saw in the movies? So I was lucky to be born in a city away from light pollution, Diwa, where I could see stars really brighter. So there is the beginning where instilled in me the passion. And okay, can I go to the space? Can I be an astronaut when I grow up? But as I getting older, I figure out that it's really difficult. because when I finished my high school, I realized there's no like in the space program in our country. So I didn't get disappointed at that point. No, I decided to serve my country in different ways. So I joined army and decided to be a pilot to get closer to my dream somehow. So the passion was there, still there. So I just progressed normally as a fighter pilot. Went to United States, trained there in Tucson, in Arizona, and coming back from that training, the first thing I saw when I entered my operation squadron, there's a big picture in that building. The photo was for His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan, the founding father of this country. May his soul rest in peace. When that was different picture. That picture was him sitting with NASA astronauts and Apollo Soyuz program. It really ignites that passion again. Okay, His Highness, I saw it before, but that time it was different. Can I achieve that dream? So it was in my back of my mind, and I thought it's okay. Maybe opportunity will come, not for me, maybe for my kids and for my grandkids. So I was always encourage them to more read about space. But always our leadership surprised us with the planning and the acceleration vision that they have to make everything really possible in our age. So His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid announced in 2017 December, we are opening UAE astronaut program. So if you have the capability to join and to represent your country and to be the ambassador as you, but this one is different, Your Excellency. It was to the space. So I have that really courage, and okay, I can do it because of my background. I have the confidence, the skills, and mindset to represent my country. So my colleague Sultan and myself applied side by side with the 4,000 applicants from UAE, and this number is really huge, reflecting that Emirati youth is really ambitious and want to really give what they have to serve this country. We are really lucky and fortunate to be selected and to represent our country on this endeavor.
So you've always had this dream, and then all of a sudden you see this announcement by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid saying we're developing a space program. So how did you feel? What went through your mind? It must have been like a dream come true.
Definitely, Your Excellency. It was like dream come true for me. The opportunity is open, and I was really excited. And the amount of applicants I saw and the different backgrounds I saw from our country, youth is really a lot and diverse in different sectors, different fields, scientists, engineers, pilots, all of them coming to apply for this job, which is to make our country proud. And just to let you know, like it was like 30 years from last Arab reaching, more than 30 years reaching space. In 80s, Prince Sultan bin Salman, and after him Mohammed Faris, they went to space. But after that, there's like 30 years of like Arabs went to space. So the spark is again here, started in UAE, and I believe it's spreaded all over the Arab region as well.
Azza, you said 4,000 Emiratis applied. Can you tell us a little bit about the selection process, and then we'll go into the training? But from 4,000, it got singled down to you and Sultan, just down to 2. So what was the selection process like?
Yeah, it was really tough. I remember it is like it was in 2018 in Ramadan. We started like 2 years ago the selection process, when they just started to selecting from the 4,000 applicants down to 500, down to 95. Each time they did a series of medical checks, psychometric test, IQ test, all of them just to check the applicants and filtering them. Definitely, health is one of the go-no-go things when it comes to going to space. and thanks to my background in military, so it's give me that advantage with also my colleague Sultan and Niyadi. Both of us went through it in a very professional way, and we end up 9 candidates. We went to Russia. We did the same process that the Russian doing for their cosmonaut in terms of medical check and different type and series of also checks like centrifuge and chamber check. All of them they are like series of medical and mostly medical to see how's you're really fit and ready for this type of missions, because when you are going to space, it's really very tough environment, hostile environment, microgravity. So you have to be really ready mentally, physically, and also they will check you how you communicate with your crew and with your team. So a lot of skills set as an astronaut you should gain from you, maybe your previous job or from your social life. Always I encourage who want to pursue this dream to always read more, engage more with people, and know more about the history of space also.
It sounds like a very demanding, both on the selection process and on the training, which we'll get into a little later. But tell me how you felt when you found out that you made it, that you made the cut, that after 4,000 applicants, you were going to be the guy who creates history for the UAE and live your dream.
I was really rushed. My blood rushed to my brain, my heart, and I was really happy. I remember that I gathered my kids. They knew that I applied to this program from the beginning, so they were like following me in the process and telling them more about what's coming and what I did also. So when I received the announcement from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid and Mohammed bin Zayed, both of them, they announced our names on 3rd of September. We were in the airplane going to Star City, to Russia. I was really happy, honored. I'm going to make this dream, nation dream, come true. And it was really also we felt a huge responsibility upon us to make this mission accomplish. So we focus on our training, and it is really very, very tough training and the preparation in terms of preparing for any missions related to space field. So we are really happy and honored, selected for this mission.
Yeah, it's not easy living up to everyone's expectations, especially when you are, setting such a high and big standard, not just for the country, but for the whole world and for the entire Arab world. My next question is I'm not gonna directly. How did your family react when they found out that you made it? Was it, oh my God, this is so great, we're so proud of you? Or what are you thinking? Why are you doing this?
Honestly, before the selection and at the beginning, I told both of my parents and also my parents and my wife about this program, and they were like little bit not excited about it because it's new. It's okay. It's new in our country, space sector and astronauts, and we are not daring to say that I want to be an astronaut. Like 4 years ago, if you hear your kids, maybe I want to be an astronaut. Come on, it's not happening anyway. Maybe, but now we break that barrier, and we make our ambitions even more higher. Thanks to our really wise leadership for that. So at the beginning they were not excited, but after His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid and Mohammed bin Zayed announcement, they get excited more, and they wish me best luck to just pursue my dream. And also they encourage me through the training process. Thanks to my wife, to my kids, they supported me through the whole process by sending me the good messages and the good photos, and also sharing with me their dreams, which is I was always communicating with them my training, my daily activities as an astronaut, because it's really a unique opportunity and unique thing happening in UAE to have an astronaut. Absolutely. And people training in that field. We have to inherit them, the passion, the experience, and definitely in future we will see not only Hazza and Sultan, we'll see many other astronauts coming from this nation.
Hazza, you issued a message from outer space in Arabic. Tell our viewers why you felt that that was an important thing to do.
I think it's really very important. We have been away from space sector as a human space flight for more than 30 years, and it's really important to come back again with a very solid message that we are here. UAE is here. We are the first, by the way, we are the first Arab on board the International Space Station, and hopefully will be not the last from this Arab region. In future, there will be a different countries participating. That's what I can sense when I went to different like symposium and lectures. The spark, we ignite. The United Arab Emirates ignite in this field is really enormous and unimaginable. I can see it in the eyes, or not only in the eyes of UAE kids, in the whole region. The courage and the amount of pride. That's okay. We made it. There's an Arab on board the station, going to space, conducting experiments, conducting science, participating with different type of machines, equipments, working with different astronauts, cosmonauts together in harmony, and it's really amazing, Your Excellency. When you're up there on board the station, we are one family, despite the background, the religion, the beliefs, where you are coming from, what's your language. We are working together as a one family. We sit together once, myself with my friend astronaut Nick Higg from NASA, looking from Cuba down to Earth, and it was really amazing. And it's one of the things that all astronauts agree on. When we are looking at Earth, it is with no boundaries. It's just only one planet, our mothership, that taking us in this vast space, unite us. And nothing, I believe, nothing stronger than space to make us stronger as just a humankind.
You touched on something that's really, two things that are really important. One is why it's so important for young Arabs and young Emiratis to have something towards the future, something aspirational, something inspirational, something that they can hope for and dream for, whether it's going to space or having a better program in X or Y. And I think what the UAE does so much is focus on the future, focus on developing the country, the resources, the education, the healthcare, so we can have something to believe that next year this is going to be better than this year, and the following year is going to be even better. But you said that when you were in space with the Americans and the Russians, you were one family, you were one team. What were the dynamics like? What did you learn from them? And what did they learn from you after 8 days with just the three of you in outer space?
Yes. Before I take you to the station, when we arrived to Star City, we saw the cosmonauts there. We trained with them, the astronauts from different agencies, preparing there for their mission also as well. So we saw how they are welcoming us, how they really encourage us to just pursue this dream, and they are really, we're happy to see a new country like UAE, a very young country. Yes, next year we will celebrate the 50th anniversary of our country, but still we are young, and we made it to space as a human space flight. So they were really happy, encouraging us and giving us a lot of advices, and working with them on a daily basis. We had this after we finished from work. We just came back and again met in one table, eating together, laugh together, sharing different culture together, So it's really important. It make us together stronger to face our upcoming missions, which is going to space. So we work together as a harmony, as a one team from launch itself, launching with cosmonauts Oleg Skirbichka and Jessica Meir from NASA. Both of them, they supported me, gave me a lot of advices. It was really amazing. Going to space.
Are you still in touch with them, Hazza?
Yes, definitely. I'll always WhatsApp them and also email them. And after I finished also my 8 days on board the station, I received email from them on board the station. So we are in continuous communication, because inshallah in future we will come back again. Just to let you know, Your Excellency, as you know also, this program, UAE Astronaut program, is a sustainable program. So by that, we are already currently closed the second registration for the second batch to increase our number as the astronaut corps, and from there we'll start again to train to be ready for future missions. So the second selection just closed with the 4,300 applicants. Female is really more than 1,400, which is really a huge number. Talking about UAE. And by the beginning of next year, we will announce 2 more astronauts. We will again train for future missions. Space is really coming in a high scale now, in very fast rhythm. Next week we will witness, inshallah, a new launch from United States. SpaceX, in cooperation with NASA, they will launch 2 astronauts for DM2. It's a demo mission, and it will open again a new gate, new opportunities, not only for United States but for the whole world. So all space lovers and astronauts waiting for that moment, wish them best of luck for astronaut Bob and astronaut Dog, and hopefully it will be successful mission. Definitely, and in future we will be also as the UAE part of any future exploration.
Now, for older people like me, not young people like you, we were used to watching a space program where it was always government funded. NASA would send the space shuttles and satellites into space, or the military. Same thing in Russia and other countries. Now you mentioned something that is a big milestone that I don't think people appreciate. This is the first private sector space launch in the history that we are aware of. Do you think that becomes the norm? Do you think that in the future more private sector and investors are going to be engaged in space as well as the governments? Or is this a trial balloon and we don't know how it's going to go?
I believe it is a new milestone that it will open a new era in space exploration, either by SpaceX or Boeing or any other private sector. It's going to be really amazing what we will witness in next decade of space exploration. And as we know that United States also planning to go back again to exploring moon again and to stay there. And I believe that our leadership also will push us again to be part of that exploration. Hopefully, maybe we'll see one of our next generation also raising the flag of the UAE on the moon.
Zah, I remember seeing a video of you returning to the Emirates, and I think Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed received you at the airport. Tell our viewers how that made you feel when you set foot back on the Emirates, in the Emirates soil for the first time, and being received by the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and what went through your mind?
Your Excellency, how is our bond as Emirati with our leadership? It's more than it's like people to their leaders. It's more like they are we are their sons, and we are really appreciate their support in different aspects. So His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, he welcomed me there with the with my family, with my friends, and it was really a lot for me. That's really I want to honored to just to have that opportunity to see him in front of me, welcoming me from this mission, and the trust that they give us as a leadership to pursue our dreams. Always they are pushing us forward and betting on the youth of the UAE, and alhamdulillah, we are making this mission accomplished. I remember that just when he welcoming me and we just went to the majlis to talk about the mission, I recalled the image of Hazan Sheikh Zayed when he was sitting with Apollo Soyuz astronaut. So I asked them, Your Highness, can I just explain for you this rocket in front of us? The rocket in front of us was Soyuz rocket that took us to space, and I want to recreate that moment that I saw in the picture, but this time it's totally different. This time our leadership sitting with their sons, their people from this country, explaining about the rocket and explaining more about space. So to recreate that image, but this one with a different flavor. To keep it in the history for the next generation, to tell them that what dream in the 70s, it became now true, and in future we can make even better dreams.
You mentioned Sheikh Zayed, and I believe Ambassador Zaki Nusseibeh is probably watching, and he knows this story far better than I do. But I want to know if you've heard this story. In 1969, when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon and Sheikh Zayed saw it on television, several of his colleagues and people around him said that this can't be true. This must be fake. This is stage. And Sheikh Zayed sat them all down and said, no, it's true. And man can do whatever he wants as long as he's focused and determined. Human race can do things like this. And he talked a lot of his people in 1969 out of believing that this was a staged event. Did you know this story?
No, actually, yes. This is the first time I heard it from you, Your Excellency. So it's really Sheikh Zayed always surprise us with his long vision term. I mean, like he always looking forward like 10, 20 years and always thinking that I want to make the better for my nation and for my country. And this is what happening for us here today. We are living in a very really country. I mean, in terms of the living and the infrastructure and everything, because of his far vision from the beginning, from the staff union and until the fellow leaders taking care of that currently. So we are really lucky, and definitely always UAE people surprising the whole world with their ambitions and with their dreams. Currently,
let's reverse to the future again. I took us back to Sheikh Zayed in 1969 because when you mentioned him, I remembered that story. The next planned space event for us is our probe to Mars, which is scheduled for July of 2021, which is also designed to be aligned with our 50-year anniversary of our founding. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the Mars probe, what the objective is, what the goal is, and kind of the future of the UAE space program?
Yes, when it's coming to the UAE space programs, we have different aspects, from developing satellites to transfer knowledge, from Khalifa Sat, which end up 100% Emirati developed and launched already, orbiting Earth, to launching also astronaut, to preparing astronauts to the future missions, which is Emirati Hope Probe, which is going to reach orbit around Mars, the red planet, next year. And it is, despite what's happening all around the world, it's in the timeline is tight, and already we are on the timeline in terms of preparation. and it is a scientific mission to explore and to study the Mars atmosphere, and it will benefit the scientific community in different sectors. This is one aspect. The other aspect also is to encourage our nation, Emirati, and also the region to pursue more in scientific fields and STEM education, which will really be beneficial for future careers and future economy. As we know, our country is trying to transfer from oil-based country to a knowledge-based country, and nothing like space when we are coming to this. So we are focusing on developing now different type of satellites and launching next year Hope Probe. It will be really a big accomplishment because we'll be the first Arab probe to reach the red planet.
Azaf, for you, what comes next? You've fulfilled one of maybe your biggest lifelong dream, and you went to space. You're now talking about the next class of trainees. Are you becoming an instructor? Are you still engaged with the pro? What do you want to do next? What do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah. Yep. So, Your Excellency, as you know, when it's coming to astronauts and they finish from their mission, they're still ongoing on doing briefings and conducting different type of follow-up experiments following the mission, the first mission they did already. So there's a lot of experiment that I still to me is ongoing from the previous mission to compare the results. And it's for the researchers and scientists is really excited because it is first time they conduct and collect a lot of data from one from this region, from Arab region. So it's really interesting for them to see the result. This one aspect. The other aspect is to continue the outreach and to spread the inspirational message, not only in UAE, to the whole Arab region. After that, as I mentioned before, inshallah we'll continue our training. Hopefully, inshallah, nothing is impossible, but hopefully, inshallah, I will go to the moon maybe. If it is coming in my age, nobody knows. So we are looking to different opportunities and different partners in that term, and inshallah we'll continue on training to be ready for future missions.
Azai, you said something early on at the beginning, which was that, you know, when my 9-year-old son sent in the question, that's kind of your target audience. These are the people you really want to reach out to, and the people you want to convince that if they had dreams like yours of going into outer space, that those dreams can come true. So what's your advice to all the young Emiratis who are staying at home, who are watching YouTube and playing video games, and some of them have dreams of going into outer space? If you were to address them or speak to them, or if they were with us on this meeting, what would you say to them?
As far as I know my kids are now watching me. So, my advice is just explore. If you are a kid, always have this curiosity and exploration sense on you. Always try to figure out how things working, and always remember, health is number one. Eat a healthy food is always number one. So lifestyle is important. This is the one aspect. And the other aspect is pursue your passion. Always you have to work and pursue a dream that you are passionate about. Work to achieve that. To let you know, to be an astronaut is not a career like you will pursue in university. You have to accomplish a lot of things before you achieve that goal. So you have to work on yourself, and despite you shouldn't be like a pilot to be astronaut. You can be engineer, scientist, doctor, teacher. Even the teachers went to space. So it is the passion they drove them to pursue their dream. So this is my advice for them. Follow your passion, work hard to achieve them, and believe me, if you are from UAE, you will have a lot of opportunities in future.
Yeah, you are living proof that kids' dreams about going to space can become true. So I think any young person who meets you will start believing and thinking that it's possible. So I want to thank you for that. You're dealing with the lockdown from Corona, so are we. We're all now being forced to isolate and live alone and quarantine, which is something you experienced in outer space. Now you're being forced to do it here on the ground because of Corona. What's your advice to us? Not to the kids, to the adults.
Yes, I was really lucky before my mission. We stayed in quarantine for 2 weeks. We experienced this life. Again, we experienced it on board the station to be isolated. And my advice to the young people as well as to the kids to just do a schedule, a daily schedule for yourself. It is really a very important time through. Utilize it in terms of staying with your kids. This is really important. We can explore more about our kids, and we can spend with them more time. So this is really important, and to establish a timeline for you. This is what we did in our quarantine as well as on board the station. We were isolated, controlled environment. So we overcome this by having this sense of responsibility. All of us, we are responsible now to stay at home and to stay with our kids to stop this virus from spreading all around. This is my advice also. Stay at home, use your time with your kids. If you have a kids, if you don't have a kids, just utilize yourself to develop your different skills and explore. You have internet, so I think we have the words in between our hands, so you can do a lot of things from reading, self-development, and whatever. So it's really important to just utilize it. And these days will pass away, and it will just finish. And after that, we will remember what we did to become better in our life.
Thank you. Azza, I've run out of questions. I've asked you everything I had in my plan that I prepared to ask, and you've covered everything. Is there anything you want to leave us with before you log off?
Your Excellency, I think when it is coming to space, it's really important to remember that we are from different countries, different mindset. Though the goal to go to space is really unite us. So my message to everyone to go more on that field, and it's really open field. It will serve everyone, and the benefit from going to space and exploring space is really beneficial for us here on ground. We saw a lot of inventions and also a lot of equipment that we are using on daily basis here on ground, coming from exploring space. So my message is stay together as we are now, united by this virus. The space also united us to explore and to go beyond this planet. Inshallah, in future, we will work with different countries, different nations to go beyond low orbit and to go beyond that to the moon in future, to Mars, inshallah. Anyway, yeah, we have a lot of dreams and ambitions. Inshallah, we make them in terms of space exploration. I want to thank also Your Excellency for this opportunity to share this mission, space exploration and mission 1 for UAE. We have a lot of partnership from different countries, and NASA is one of them. Thanks to their really cooperation in our training. We trained there in Houston, and it was really like home in terms of working with them. And in future, inshallah, maybe we'll work together, definitely. So looking forward again to meet you in person, Your Excellency, in future, inshallah.
Thank you, Azza. Azza, that is like the perfect and most fitting message to close off this wonderful chat. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the country. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for what you've done for so many young Emiratis, which is creating history and giving people something to look forward to and to look up to. You've been a role model. You've made people who have never heard of the UAE suddenly pay attention, and you created history and fulfilled a legacy from as far back as Sheikh Zayed's days. Thank you. I want to thank the Foreign Ministry for allowing us to have this program. Thank you to Sheikh Abdullah. But really, I am so grateful because I'm so honored to have been able to host you today. Thank you very much, Hazza. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.